What happens when the winners of a war become the oppressors? In the aftermath of World War II, filmmakers across Europe took a raw, unflinching look at the complexities of war and its devastating impact on ordinary people. While Hollywood focused on flag-waving heroics, European cinema delved into the darker, more morally complex stories that often went untold. From teenage prisoners forced to clear mines to soldiers grappling with their humanity, these films pushed boundaries that Hollywood was unwilling to cross. Let's dive into 10 war films that confronted uncomfortable truths and forever changed how we view history. The Cranes Are Flying, Soviet Union, 1957. The Cranes Are Flying is a haunting and poignant war drama, directed by Mikhail Kalatozov. Set against the backdrop of World War II, the film follows Veronica, a young woman whose fiancé, Boris, is sent to the front. As the war rages on, Veronica is left behind, struggling with grief, loss, and a complex journey through both love and survival. The film is a powerful exploration of the emotional and psychological toll war takes on civilians. What makes The Cranes Are Flying stand out is its departure from glorifying heroism and instead focusing on the human cost of war, particularly the women left to cope with its devastating consequences. Cinematographer Sergei Urusevsky's innovative camera work, including the groundbreaking use of long tracking shots, added to the film's emotional intensity. The Cranes Are Flying was praised for its deep humanism, becoming the first Soviet film to win the Palme d'Or at Cannes. The film's most devastating sequence is when Boris is killed in battle and Veronica is left to pick up the pieces of her broken life. This film remains an essential classic in Soviet cinema, challenging the narrative of war heroism with a deeply personal portrayal of loss. The Captain, Germany, 2017. The Captain is a stark and harrowing film directed by Robert Schwentke, based on the real-life story of a German deserter during the final days of World War II. The film follows Willy Harold, a young soldier who, in the chaos of the collapsing Third Reich, stumbles upon a Nazi officer's uniform and begins impersonating an officer. This change in identity leads him to commit horrific acts, transforming from a frightened, hunted fugitive into a ruthless and sadistic killer. The film's black and white cinematography adds to the raw and intense atmosphere, amplifying the psychological breakdown of Harold as he moves from victim to perpetrator. As the false captain, Harold executes prisoners and forces others to follow his orders, exposing the ease with which authority can corrupt the most vulnerable. Schwenke's unflinching portrayal of this transformation is both chilling and tragic, questioning the nature of power and obedience. The film's most disturbing scenes, where Harold orders executions, highlight the terrifying rapidity with which power can corrupt. Critics debated the film's portrayal of evil, with some arguing it humanized a Nazi criminal too much, while others saw it as a necessary confrontation with Germany's dark past. The Captain forces viewers to examine how easily morality can be lost in the face of authority. Come and See, Soviet Union, Belarus, 1985. Come and See is a soul-crushing depiction of war, seen through the eyes of a young boy, Florya, in Nazi-occupied Belarus during World War II. Directed by L.M. Klimov, the film immerses viewers in the brutal reality of war through Florya's terrifying transformation from an innocent child into a haunted survivor. The film captures the sheer horror of the German occupation as Florya experiences atrocities that destroy his community and childhood. The cinematography is immersive, with long takes that place viewers directly into the traumatic experiences of the protagonist. The film is known for its unrelenting depiction of the emotional and physical toll war takes on a person. Come and See is often described as one of the most powerful war films ever made, especially due to its hallucinatory style and visceral impact. The protagonist's face, which grows older and more weathered as the film progresses, symbolically ages him decades as he witnesses unspeakable horrors. Soviet censors initially delayed the film's release, worried it would traumatize audiences with its realism. When it was finally shown, the film was met with critical acclaim for its raw, unflinching depiction of the horror of war, especially its psychological impact on children. It remains a chilling reminder of war's devastation. Night and Fog, France, 1956. Night and Fog is a groundbreaking documentary, directed by Alain Resnais, that explores the horrors of Nazi concentration camps. The film combines haunting footage from the camps with contemporary images of the abandoned sites, using the past and present to create a haunting, timeless reflection on the atrocities of the Holocaust. Its minimalist style, with narration by Jean Carroll, allows the chilling images to speak for themselves. The film's most shocking aspect is its stark refusal to offer easy answers or resolutions. It presents the facts of Nazi brutality without dramatic filters, forcing viewers to confront the unimaginable scale of the genocide. Resnais's film was groundbreaking because it did not just tell the story of the camps, but rather it demanded that the audience bear witness to it. In 1956, just over a decade after the liberation of the camps, the film was controversial, with some critics accusing it of reopening painful wounds. Yet, its power is undeniable. The juxtaposition of everyday life in post-war Europe with the horrors of the camps serves as a harsh reminder that the legacy of genocide is not something to be forgotten or sanitized. Night and Fog is a sobering reflection on the banality of evil, forcing viewers to confront the human capacity for cruelty. Fires on the Plain, Japan, 1959. Fires on the Plain is a gritty, harrowing portrayal of Japanese soldiers stranded in the Philippines during the final days of World War II. Directed by Kon Ichikawa, the film follows a group of soldiers who, cut off from their command and starving, are forced into a brutal survival battle. As the men's situation grows increasingly desperate, the film shows their gradual descent into cannibalism, highlighting the breakdown of humanity under the extreme pressures of war. The film's unflinching portrayal of soldiers, not as heroes, but as desperate, broken men, is what sets it apart. Unlike the sanitized heroics of many Hollywood war films, Fires on the Plain exposes the ugly side of war, how it reduces soldiers to animals fighting for their lives. Ichikawa's direction creates a suffocating atmosphere, making the viewer feel the oppressive heat, hunger, and madness of the jungle. The production faced immense challenges, with the harsh filming conditions and the actors' physical suffering contributing to the realism. The Japanese government tried to suppress the film, feeling that it would damage the national image, but it remains a powerful examination of the degradation and despair caused by war. Fires on the Plain is a devastating portrait of the collapse of morality when survival becomes the only objective. The Bridge, Germany, 1959. The Bridge is a poignant anti-war film that focuses on the tragic story of 7 teenage boys forced to fight in the closing days of World War II. Directed by Bernhard Wicki, the film presents a group of German schoolboys who are recruited to defend a bridge in their hometown. They are given rifles and ordered to fight, even though the war is all but over. What makes this film unique is that it humanizes the enemy, showing the boys not as Nazis, but as terrified children caught in the nightmare of a collapsing regime. The production's realism was heightened by the use of actual veterans who served during the war, many of whom were deeply affected by the traumatic memories the film brought back. Based on Gregor Dorfmeister's autobiographical novel, the story captures the tragic futility of war, as the boys are forced to die for a cause that no longer exists. The final sequence, where a surviving boy attacks American soldiers who are trying to help him, is a gut-wrenching depiction of the psychological scars war leaves. The Bridge is a profound meditation on youth, loss, and the senselessness of war. It became a groundbreaking film, recognized for its unflinching portrayal of the human cost of conflict. Stalingrad, Germany, 1993. Stalingrad is a powerful and realistic portrayal of the harrowing Battle of Stalingrad during World War II, directed by Josef Vilsmeier. The film follows a group of German soldiers who are sent to fight in the infamous battle that marked a turning point in the war. Through their eyes, the film presents the brutal conditions they faced: constant bombardment, the freezing cold, and the overwhelming sense of hopelessness. What makes Stalingrad stand out is its raw, unvarnished depiction of war's horrors. With no glorification of heroism or glory, the soldiers are shown as ordinary men, terrified and struggling to survive in a battle they ultimately cannot win. The film was praised for its authenticity, with many of the battle scenes filmed in actual locations where the fighting took place. The production's commitment to realism was evident in the intense battle sequences, where the soldiers face overwhelming odds. The film also explores the psychological toll of war, showing how the men slowly lose their humanity as they are pushed to the edge. Stalingrad was a commercial success and helped redefine the portrayal of World War II in German cinema. It remains a haunting testament to the horrors of war and the human cost of conflict. The Pianist, France, Poland, Germany, UK, 2002. The Pianist is a deeply personal and haunting portrayal of survival during the Holocaust, directed by Roman Polanski. The film is based on the autobiography of Polish-Jewish pianist Władysław Szpilman, played by Adrian Brody, who survives the Warsaw Ghetto and the Nazi occupation through sheer will and ingenuity. Polanski, who himself survived the Holocaust, brings a visceral authenticity to the film, capturing the fear, resilience, and suffering of its characters. The film's stark realism is matched by Brody's haunting performance, which won him an Academy Award for Best Actor. What makes The Pianist stand out is its refusal to romanticize survival. There is no heroic victory, just the painful struggle to endure in a world consumed by violence and hatred. The film shows the true cost of survival, as Spielman must navigate a world where every decision could be his last. Polanski's direction and the film's meticulous attention to historical detail make it one of the most devastating films ever made about the Holocaust. The most devastating sequence shows Spielman witnessing the execution of a group of resistance fighters, helpless to intervene. The Pianist is a film about trauma, loss, and the survival of the human spirit under the most inhumane conditions. Land of Mine, Denmark, 2015. Land of Mine is a gripping and morally complex war film that takes a fresh look at the aftermath of World War II. Directed by Martin Zandvliet, the film tells the story of a group of German prisoners of war, mostly teenage boys, who are forced to clear the beaches of Denmark from the thousands of landmines left behind by the retreating German forces. These boys, many as young as 14, are not hardened soldiers, but frightened children who were conscripted during Hitler's final desperate months. The Danish soldiers tasked with overseeing them are initially filled with anger and resentment, seeing these boys as the enemy. However, as the story unfolds, the sergeant in charge begins to see the humanity in the boys, and his own perspective on vengeance and morality begins to shift. Land of Mine is an unflinching look at the complexities of war and revenge. The film's raw and realistic portrayal of the boys' harrowing experience is made even more intense by the use of real explosions during the production, adding a layer of authenticity to the already gripping narrative. The film's power lies in its moral ambiguity and its questioning of how easily victors can become oppressors. These films remind us that war isn't just about soldiers on the battlefield. It's about the human toll, the moral dilemmas, and the emotional scars that last long after the fighting ends. From survivors of genocide to young conscripts caught in impossible situations, these movies gave voices to those whose stories were often silenced. Their raw, unflinching portrayals of history have made them unforgettable classics. Which of these films left the biggest impact on you? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more cinematic explorations into the untold stories of war.